This is Uber Jessica here, and today we're going to be talking about surgery. Yeah! More specifically, Lasik eye surgery. And before we start, I know I look really different. It's been exactly 1 week since my surgery, and I'm not allowed to wear any eye makeups, more specifically like eyeliner and mascara, until maybe 2 weeks later, so that's why I look very different today. Eyeliner is that one thing that I always need to wear to look normal or to feel like myself, which is kind of strange, and so without it I'm just like, who am I? When I'm out in the streets I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so ugly. I'm kind of used to it now, but as soon as I can wear eyeliner, I'm definitely going back to my old ways because I just can't part with it. I never even really thought about getting surgery done on my eyes. It was just more of like an afterthought. When I was in Korea, I heard people, a bunch of people are getting like laser hair removal, surgery for their eyes, their teeth fixed, all those little things that would be, because it's a lot more expensive to get it done in America or Canada compared to Korea. I don't know why, but I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to take advantage of it because it is so much cheaper in Korea that I might as well, and it's a lifetime investment for my eyes, so can't really lose there. So yeah, I thought about it, but honestly I didn't think about it too much because I didn't want to psych myself out. And before my eye surgery, my eyes were about -4 in each eye, so it was, I always wore contacts and sometimes they get really dry or I'd fall asleep wearing my contacts and it'd just be, a mild annoyance, and there's been times where, I would be wearing colored contacts and I'd have a traumatic experience where it'd get like stuck in my eyeball. That was always really pleasant too. So that's why I wasn't dying to get LASIK, but I thought it was just a good time for me to get it. So what's the difference between LASIK and LASIK eye surgery? LASIK is generally the better option to go with, but it has a longer recovery time. LASIK, the recovery time is maybe only like 1 or 2 days, but the thing is they basically cut a flap. I'm going to get a little bit graphic here, so watch out. If this is your eye, they basically cut a flap, they lift it up, they shoot all the laser powers into the eye and then close the flap back up. So that's LASIK in non-medical terms, but basically it's a really fast recovery. But if you're ever in a car accident or something happens and you're just like shaking really physically around, there's a chance that when you're shaking your eye flap might just like flap out. And that was an image that was just like way too traumatic for me to even imagine. So they recommend LASIK generally for everyone, and especially LASIK if you do a lot of physical activities, which obviously I don't do, but I thought it'd be better anyways just in case I ever get into a car accident, and I don't want like the flaps coming out of my eyes one day randomly. That's just like really scary for me to even think about. So I opted for LASIK, even though it's a longer recovery time, because the difference for LASIK is that they just cut the top layer off and then shoot the lasers inside and then let the top layer just grow back naturally. So there's no permanent scarring or anything on the eye, because with LASIK sometimes if you look in the mirror really closely you'll be able to see the outline of where they cut, which is also kind of gross to think about as well. So that's why I chose LASIK, because everyone's doing it these days. So that's why I chose LASIK, and I just think it's just better overall to choose LASIK for the future of your eye health. I got my surgery done at a place called Dream Eye Center, which is located in Myeongdong in Seoul. Myeongdong is a fairly touristy place that a lot of people go to shop and whatnot. The location's very easy to find. It's just a quick walk out from exit 6. I specifically sought out this place because I read a lot of reviews online, especially on waegook.org, about how they said it's very foreigner friendly and there is a lot of everyone speaks English there, and that was really important to me because obviously I don't speak Korean and I really needed to know what was going to be happening every single step of the way, because your eyes is not something that you want to fuck around with, right? And I know I could have gotten it done for cheaper at maybe some other places, but I didn't want to take a gamble with my eyes and I really wanted to speak with people who could speak English to me. I made an appointment for a consultation maybe late in November, and then I went and they basically just tested my eyes They made me sit down at a bunch of different machinery, and they did various little tests like, oh, look in here, look at the bright light, look at the picture, and then they would like puff like air into my eyes, and it's just kind of like a regular medical eye exam. They also had to take a little bit of my DNA, like a little cotton swab in my mouth, to test if I didn't have a gene that would make Lasik bad for me or something like that. So yeah, so the results came back good, and then I found out that I was a really good candidate for Lasik. My eyes, I thought I had dry eyes, but apparently they were normal, so that was good. So I had planned my appointment for December 30th, because I had my winter vacation and I wanted to make sure I had enough time to recover before I had to go back to work. On the day of the appointment, they had recommended that me bring a friend along to the appointment so they could help me get back and whatnot. So I brought my friend John, and I didn't really think too much about actually getting the procedure done until that day, and I was getting so nervous just sitting at home thinking about it, thinking about them shooting lasers in my eyes, and thinking about all the aftermath, because I read so many horror stories online about how they were basically blind for a month after and they couldn't get around the house and they were just in pure pain. So I was like, oh well, this is gonna be great. So anyways, as soon as I got there, they made me fill out some forms saying that, you know, I know this is what's going to happen, and they gave me a few papers telling me exactly how to care for my eyes afterwards, and a bunch of prescriptions for different eye drops that I would need to get to take care of my eyes afterwards. So after all that paperwork was done, I was led upstairs, and then they had to check my eyes one more time to make sure everything, you know, there's no changes, and then they gave me this little book telling me exactly what was going to happen. It was kind of like a little children's story book, so I thought that was kind of cute. Yeah, so this is what happened. First they put eye drops in my eyes to numb them so they wouldn't feel anything, and then they brought me upstairs. I had to put this little gown on, and then they had a bunch of stuffed animals, and they told me that I could hug the stuffed animals so I wouldn't feel afraid. So I thought that was a really cute extra touch. Oh, those Koreans, always adding the extra cute little touches to everything. So yeah, I like that a lot. And then they made me pose with like a little teddy bear as I was in my gown and took a picture of me for memories, you know, that's how they do. Oh yes, while we were waiting, someone was getting their eyes done before me, and I could see through the glass, but I didn't want to look because I didn't want to psych myself out. But also in the waiting room area, they had a TV with a close-up of the actual eye and the whole surgery being caught on camera that they would actually record for you. So I did not look at that because I didn't want to see it. But my friend was like, whoa, so cool, and he recorded it. So I'm actually going to show you this video after. So if it's too graphic, you have been warned. Don't watch to the very end because I'm going to play the video for you. I was getting extremely nervous. Like my stomach was doing knots. I was so nervous about getting lasers shot into my eye. But then the nurse, she called me in, put more eye drops in my eyes, and then they took me into the room. So then I had to lie down, and then they basically said, all you need to do is look at the green light. And just keep looking at the green light, and it's okay even if you miss the green light sometimes, because the laser will just like auto focus onto like where the right spots of your eye are. I lay down, and then they covered me up with a blanket, and then the laser came down, and then basically the doctor started doing some things. I was awake for the whole thing, obviously, so I could see them placing some sort of thing over my eye so it wouldn't close and it wouldn't blink. And then they did some things that I could see him saying, oh, okay, we've cut the eye now, so now I'm just gonna scrape it off. And I could see the blade going across my eyeball, and I was like, oh my god, he's scraping my eyeball. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So that was really like, I wish he did tell me he was scraping my eyeball, because I was just like, the mental images were just like going insane. I had no idea. And even though it was a very calm and soothing environment, I was just like petrified lying there. I was just so scared. And then finally, after he scraped it off, they rinsed my eye, so you know I could feel like the water going everywhere. And this whole time, like I couldn't, like nothing hurt because they numbed my eye, so I didn't feel any actual pain. But just the mental images that was going on in my head was like, it was like going crazy. So I was still super scared, even though I technically wasn't feeling any pain. And then finally they said the laser was coming, and then I heard, I saw like a brighter light, and there's a bunch of like zapping noises. I could smell like burning, so like my eye was getting burned from the lasers. And then after that it was basically done. They put another little contact over my eye so nothing would get like moved around and all fucked up. And then that was it for one eye, and that whole procedure for one eye was 5 minutes. So then they moved me on to the next eye and then repeated the whole process again. Only took 5 minutes, so the whole procedure after was only 10 minutes long. And I thought it was really funny afterwards because you know that song in Korean that goes, congratulations, congratulations, na 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 na. Anyways, that song, as soon as my eyes were done, that song came through the speakers, and I thought it was like the most hilarious thing ever. I just like burst out laughing after the surgery. But oh yeah, and also before you get your surgery, they make you fill out a form of what kind of music that you like to listen to. Like, do you like to listen to jazz music, K-pop, movie soundtrack? So you have to pick what kind of what genre of music you want to listen to. So they really think about all the little details to make sure you feel really comfortable. So they took me to another room where I could rest and lie down, and it was very dimly lit. And I was there for about half an hour. They told me just to close my eyes and relax. And I still didn't really feel any pain, but I could start to feel my eyes getting a little bit dry and kind of more like kind of sticking to my eyelids, but not really. And then after that, it was over. They gave me the prescription, so I had to go to the pharmacy. So I picked up artificial tears, an antibiotic, and an anti-inflammatory. And they also gave me painkillers too, in case it hurt too much, but they said it shouldn't really hurt. So that day I had to take the antibiotic and the anti-inflammatory every 2 hours, and the artificial tears whenever I wanted to. And then the day after that, I had to take it every 4 hours. And then after that, I had to keep taking the anti-inflammatory for up to 5 to 6 months. So it's a lot of eye drop action. The day of my surgery, everything was blurry. I couldn't read anything. I couldn't read my text. I was like, how am I going to survive? I'm living by myself. I can't even message my friends for help. So I got home and I was feeling pretty optimistic because nothing was really hurting. I didn't know how much pain I would feel, but actually it didn't really hurt at all. It just felt a little bit dry. Otherwise everything felt fine. Until 10 o'clock hit.